What's going on, everyone? And welcome to the Geek Pit. I'm your host, the Metal Geek. Now, I'm going to introduce the guest. This guest, they are the promoters of Pro Wrestling Carnage. Let's give a geeking out welcome to Beers and Beatdown.
Hey, how's things? Thank you for having us.
Yes, thanks, mate.
Thanks a lot for coming on, man. Yeah. So how'd you guys get your start in the wrestling business one at a time?
Well, do you want to do? Shall I go I first? Because
You go first. Yours is.
mine's a long time ago. Yeah. So I accidentally knew. Well, I was training with somebody, and he's mentioned wrestling, and I was a fan anyway. And then so I just met the right people at the right time in a gym, and he said, "Let's go to this wrestling show. I know this wrestler." And then I met him after the show, and it was kind of like, "Do you want to jump in the ring with us next Saturday?" So I jumped in the ring, got beat up for 2 hours, and then 6 days later, I had a call saying, "Do you want to come on the show tonight?" That's literally how I started, but that was about 22 years ago. So it was very different to the wrestling school situation that you have today. So I just then got some boots and went on the road with everybody, and here we are. So I learned a very different way, and you're quite similar. You went to school a little bit, didn't you?
Yeah, so I started at 12 years old.
Wow. They start young in the UK, I noticed,
Yeah, it is very common. I started at 12, found a training school, started training there, started going to seminars around the UK at 12, 13 years old. I had to train to be able to get in the ring, though, so it took me a few years. I think I was 15 when I made my debut. And yeah, I've been going ever since. That was along 21 years ago.
So yeah, we've been around for a little bit. I took some time off because of an illness, so I had a few years off, and then I decided to put the boots back on when I was 38 years old.
My fault.
Yeah. Who were you guys' first opponents?
Ooh. Mine was a gentleman called Death Row, and it was a handicap match, and it was me and another trainee, and we had a tag team. We wore stupid masks, and our gear didn't match, and we were called Topsy Turvy, and we lost in about 5 minutes. It was great. Loved it.
And my official first match was against a guy called Cade Callis, which I got beat up for, but Cade's brilliant, so he looked after me. During the match, the ring was so bad, the board splits, so he choke slammed me on the metal bar accidentally, which was great. But I actually wrestled the night before against the guy that trained me called, one of the guys that trained me called Johnny the Body. So, so first match was a painful one, really, the first official one.
Yeah.
And they were awful.
The rings were terrible back in the day.
I know you mentioned Johnny the Body, but who trained you?
Mine was a gentleman called Cayman. He was the promoter of a company called Celtic Wrestling. That's where I made my start. But when I first started training, it was under the NWA banner. So it was NWA Hammerlock to begin with, which then transitioned into his own entity as NWA Wales down our end. Because I think Hammerlock was based in Kent, which is a few hours away from where I trained. So they split and they had two different entities. But yeah, Cayman, which was nice because at our first Carnage event, I actually got to wrestle him, which was like 20 years in the making. So that was really cool.
Main event too.
Main event for the title. And he kicked the shit out of me.
You got knocked out twice.
Twice.
Yeah. So now we're on the topic of Carnage. How did Carnage Pro Wrestling get started?
It was my idea. I'd been wanting to do it for a while. I had a couple of friends that I told the idea to. I told my wife the idea, and they were all for it. So it started with me, and another two guys. One have left. There's another one still helping us out. Like, he still runs the company with me. Blanche was brought in as more of a guy to help with the booking as well and making the matches. I don't think we've ever had a disagreement when it comes to actually booking shows. Like, I'll put my ideas across, Blanche will put his across, and then if we do have some disagreements, we'll compromise. So we'll do, and everything seems to have worked so far. We're building a hell of an audience, and the shows are going great. So I can't complain. But yeah, it was just COVID hit, and I left the company that I was a mainstay at, and wanted to do something on my own because I always knew that I wanted to run a promotion. So I thought during COVID, why not start doing it? So it started during COVID. Obviously, no shows happened until after everything reopened in the UK. But by that time, we'd already got a following just from our social media presence, which helped a lot because no other wrestling company was really posting anything at that time. So when we were posting things about putting on a show when the time was right, people were loving it because they weren't getting any independent wrestling content. So a lot of people were seeing our stuff, which I think helped greatly for the debut show.
Yeah,
So
during COVID, I hadn't been in part of the wrestling business for a long time at this point, so it's just a matter of a strange meeting that we had to get to meet up again because we've known each other. I've known him since he was 12, so yeah, it was just a strange meetup that we had, and then he's like, "Come on in." So yeah, it's like, let's do it. And I wasn't going to be a talent or anything at the time. I was just going to come in and just run the book with him. But things happened, and BXB were born. So it's kind of like during COVID, we had a year of the Carnage thing, a year of BXB, and then we kind of, when we were allowed to perform, we did, and it's just been strength to strength ever since. So we're quite lucky, really. So
what would you say the hardest part about working during COVID was?
Content, because we couldn't really post matches or footage of anything because we hadn't had a show. So it was more roster reveal pictures
videos and promos,
videos and promos off the guys that were getting announced as part of the roster. We did announce a couple of people, and they didn't end up working for us. So obviously, during that year of us posting things, things changed. But the numbers, I think, as I said, people were seeing us because there wasn't much independent wrestling content out there for people to see. We were getting a lot of eyes, which I think helped us a lot. But yeah, it was just content and what we could post because no one could be around each other. So it's not like I could go and meet up with someone and start maybe a feud or something for the first show over video because no one could be together. So it was majority promos and just pictures. And
we filmed a vignette. We got together at one point. We filmed a vignette of us walking down the corridor because, like, Dane's has been a singles wrestler for his whole career, really, and I hadn't been seen for 10 years. So we did a little vignette, like an old school vignette, like you would see in WWE, a little reveal of what BXB was, and it just went from strength to strength. It was just snowballed into what we are today. And all we did was walk down a corridor. So it was pretty cool. And yeah, the social media was great at that time. So we used it very, very well. I think we were really clever with it. And the guys that we brought in, they all did little videos of them signing contracts and stuff and introduced themselves to Pro Wrestling Carnage audience. So everyone's done their little bit during COVID. All the guys did their bit as well. So it was a bit of a team effort with everybody that made Carnage kick off really well. So
yeah, so there were some promotions here in America that were able to do shows but have no fans. Did you guys actually have that opportunity just to shoot some content, or no?
no, nothing. Everything was closed down. I don't know how it was in the US, but in the UK, you had to get like basically a time slot to go to a shop at one point, which was insane. And you weren't allowed, like, I've got a big family, so like I've got a huge family, 10 children. All right. So yeah, I've got a big family, and two of my children live with their mother about an hour away from me. But during COVID, there wasn't anything for like broken families to be able to, because they lived with their mother. There was no way for me to be able to go and see him. I wasn't allowed, like legally. I could get in trouble if I went and picked my children up. So I don't think I seen them for about 2 months, which was super hard. And then they sort of like there was some complaining by not just me, by the whole of the UK, about like fathers and mothers not being able to see their children. So they did say like broken families can go and pick up their children and stuff. So after about 2 months, I managed to see my two children for, you know, as I said, the first time in 2 months. It was really hard. So in that case, there was nothing that we could do to like run a show or even meet up just to like film a promo or anything. It was a bit of a nightmare, and it was very hard, like just not being able to do anything, being stuck in your house. So
yeah, COVID sucked.
Yeah,
it did suck.
Fucking shit.
I had nothing better to do than make babies, so I had a.
he genuinely did have. How many do you have? Do you have one during COVID?
One during COVID. So
10 kids, man.
that was
God
my
bless
life,
you,
just
man.
practicing and you know, making babies.
That's it, man. It's crazy, yeah. So
But we were ready to go as soon as we got told we can run show. We were ready to go. We had everything in place. We were like the ring turned up. You bought a ring and it turned up for like 4 days before the show.
Yeah.
At one point we didn't know if it was going to get there. So everything turned up in the week of the show. Everyone was ready. All the boys have been working out and training in the house for the whole of COVID. It was like everyone was raring to go. They needed to get in the ring.
Some of the guys, like one of our guys, James Ellis, when COVID first hit, and like he'd tell you this himself, he was a chunky boy. He was big. But during COVID, like he trained every day consistently, watched his diet, and
working from home. We got to do nothing but train.
And like he looked on the first show, he looked phenomenal. But like obviously since COVID and like everything's opened up again, and he's been able to actually go to the gym and stuff, he looks fantastic now.
We should do that gym thing one day.
My favorite machine's the vending.
So,
the vending machine. There you go. I was just about to ask, what do you got? What kind of weights do you guys lift exactly?
I haven't been to the gym since I was.
Yeah,
it goes against that gimmick. Remember, we're the beer drinkers. You know,
we drink beers. If I haven't got a beer belly, then it makes no sense in my head.
To be fair, like just before we got to the shows, we were like we're getting in the ring, and like we didn't get much in-ring stuff together before we actually did shows. So we maybe had like a couple of months of we were able to get to the to a wrestling ring and train and stuff, and so we didn't do loads and loads of. We're just getting used to being in the ring. I haven't been in the ring for 12 years at this point.
So yeah, I think it was more just training and
ring rust and stuff. Yeah,
and yeah, because everyone had ring rust because they obviously hadn't been in the ring for over a year either. So like our thing, because we knew we were coming back as a tag team, was more getting some tag team moves down, getting a tag team finisher, which we done. And even though we were coming in as a tag team, the first show we ended up working singles anyway.
It is what it is. We had to do singles.
So what would you say your inspirations to become a professional wrestler are, and like how did that begin for you guys? Like I saw him, and
mine's really different to yours because mine's Bobby Heenan.
Yeah.
Bobby Heenan is one of the greatest performers, all-round performers of all time. So mine was Bobby Heenan. I always wanted to be a wrestling manager. which I did do. I got to manage quite a lot during my career, and loved it the most. And then the wrestling thing just came about accidentally. So the aim for me was always to be a manager, just because there wasn't any at the time, really in the UK at all. So Bobby Heenan's was my main thing, and he's my goat. So yours is obviously a wrestler, isn't it?
Yeah, mine was weird because I didn't really watch any old school stuff. I got into wrestling pretty late, so I got in towards the back end of the Attitude Era. So I remember like Triple H and Austin and The Rock. So it was The Rock and Austin for me. But then as I got older and I started watching earlier stuff, like Ric Flair was the man. He is the man. Not that I base any of my stuff on Ric Flair. But yeah, Ric Flair, I wanted to be Ric Flair. I'd never be able to pull it off. For one, I am got no hair. But yeah, Ric Flair was the man, and I wanted to be Ric Flair.
Yeah, that's just awesome. What would you say the hardest part about producing a show and wrestling on the show at the same exact time is? What's like the most frustrating part?
Well, our thing at the moment is we don't get to speak to each other until we get to the ring on the whole day. We barely get a chance to speak to each other at all. So it's literally like, let's go. And I see him just before the entrance and have a little. That's literally it. We don't get a chance because we're running the show.
I'm busy with one guy while Blanche is busy with another. Yeah, we'll get to the curtain and we'll be like, right, let's do this. But obviously, if we're booked at other shows that are not ours,
we love working elsewhere because there's no pressure. It's just go and wrestle and just do what we do.
We get to like talk a little bit beforehand, but yeah, Karnage shows it's very difficult because I'm worrying that the sound guy is going to do the music right and make sure they're pressing the button on the fog machine for the entrances and the lights. And
we're asked, all the boys ask questions where they want the match to go or how they want the finish to be, and we've got ideas and how's this going to make sense on the next show and what we're going to change for it to actually make sense, because we're big believers in things actually making sense as well. So so it's like on the day of the show, it's our hardest thing is not actually seeing each other really until it's go time. So
what would you say? I'm going to just jump back to this question real quick. What would you say your favorite Ric Flair matches? You said Ric Flair was one of your favorites. So what would you say?
Mine's Chi-Town Rumble.
Chi-Town
Steamboat. Against Steamboat is class.
That's
the second one, and that's the second one in the three.
I'm gonna say him and Dusty in the cage.
Oh, Starcade.
Yeah. I can't remember. Was it 84?
85?
It was 84, 86, I think. But yeah, one of those matches.
You know how I feel about Dusty as well. So.
Dusty's also the man.
Your phone.
I know. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Mine's Chi-Town Rumble. It's got to be.
Yeah.
It's just
class. Mine's got to be HBK Ric Flair.
That
dude,
match.
I cried.
Every time I watch it, my wife takes the piss out of me all the time. Because like I've had a lot of kids, so when she had our two children, I didn't cry. I held it together. But every time I watch Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair, I cry, and she always ribs me about it.
It's just that. It's just the point. It's just the. It's a moment.
It's just seeing him like start feeding up, ready for the super kick. He's already crying because he knows it's the finish.
Yeah.
And
those emotions are real.
Me and Ellis were talking about that match the other day.
It's nuts. Yeah. It does something to me, and I don't like it.
What would you say your favorite Bobby Heenan moment is for you?
Mine? There's so. It's just a comedy genius, isn't it? The ones that spring to mind, like being backwards on a camel at WrestleMania 9.
Yeah.
And him and Monsoon together. I think one of the best things he's ever done, and I always mention it, and I go on about it all the time. him calling Rumble 92 is one of the best called matches of all time. That the commentary on his own stands out as one of the greatest. I think Monsoon and Heenan are the best commentary team ever. Just my opinion, but just him calling 92 and just it's not fair to Flair stuff is just a masterpiece of commentary. And the whole, he even asked Monsoon for a fight at one point, didn't he? He's like shouting, "Put him up!" Like it's just a masterpiece. Him and Perfect together is just
his wrestling as well was fantastic.
Yeah, he was amazing
when he was actually a wrestler and not a manager before he got into managing. And the only reason he started managing was because he couldn't be bothered to go to the gym.
Yeah.
True story. I thought his wrestling ability was like up there, and I think he could have been world champ if he went to the gym. He was so good.
There's no better talker and just the greatest manager of all time and one of the greatest all-rounders ever. He's just Heenan was just the man for me. He made me laugh when you weren't meant to. Even as a kid, as a kid and as a bad guy, you laughed. And just his reaction to a crowd shouting "Weasel" is just it's magical, isn't it? He was just brilliant.
Yeah, I got to see him like right when he came back after throat cancer, and he was right back there. He was managing. I believe it was Jimmy Jacobs and Colt Cabana.
Nice.
And Jim Cornette was on the other side managing, and this was the day Jim Cornette turned heel, and he just gave it to he was a bigger heel than Bobby Heenan that night. But
Cornette's number two. Cornette's number 2 on my list of managers. Cornette's awesome. Cornette had some heat. Cornette had some mega heat. Hell of a talker. Love Cornette.
Cornette is, and the thing is, the guy doesn't get enough credit where credit is due. No. He'll rip on every single person on the indies, and then every single fan would just rip on him on the internet. And I'm like, this is what this guy wants. This guy wants you to hate him.
He wants the heat, yeah.
He wants the heat, and he's doing it. He's doing his job, and he's getting those negative tweets. And I'm like, you guys are all feeding into it, It's just so massive right there.
He's got you right there in the palm of his hand. He knows,
and he's such a genius right there,
But no, yeah, Cornette's my number 2 of managers, and him and the Midnight Express were just class back in the day. He had so much heat in the NWA. He had so much heat. Plus, he used to jump off scaffolds and stuff, didn't he? So
what's exactly the backstory for you guys to form as a tag team?
Do you want to do this?
Yeah, so I was coming back to wrestle, and I was going to manage Dange. I was just going to come and manage and do a couple of shows a year, just have a little bit of fun, And a guy that was about to run the show asked if we could help out some trainees. And he said, one day, could you actually do a tag match, but you as a manager and Dange as a wrestler, and you just do one tag match just to help some young guys get over? And we're like, yeah, no worries. And I said, I'll tell you what, we'll just become a tag team for one day. We'll just do a real match as a tag team. I think my body will last one match because I was in no physical shape at the time. No physical shape at all. I was very large, very rusty. I hadn't wrestled for 10 years. I said, yeah, we'll do one match. And then we just started talking, didn't we, over some beers. And it was just like, we could call ourselves this. And the name came about. And then the gimmick came about. And then it just happened. And then so I started training. I dropped a bit of weight. And then we managed to get in the ring. And it just worked. We started working with some guys training. And we didn't even have to speak to each other. And we knew exactly where each other's were. So I was like, this is actually going to work. And then the gimmick came about and more and more and more. And then when it was go time after COVID, it just started clicking.
It just
started clicking. It took me a few to get back into it, but then within the first couple of minutes of me shouting at somebody, he was like, yeah, he's back. So,
but the gimmick, in essence, I think has changed a lot since we've started because we come out in the leathers, and I have a denim over my leather and stuff. That's still the case, but we were going more for the really hard nut like heels at the time. we're face now, but we still do exactly the same stuff we done as a heel, and it still works, and we still get the cheers because we're just, I don't know.
It just seems that we're just having fun when we're doing it, you know. And
I think that our
lots
characters,
of gobbing off, isn't it?
yeah, I think our characters are basically just us. We have so much fun. There's so many in jokes that people don't understand, or but we'll laugh, which will make them laugh, or we'll say something that's stupid, like really out there stupid, and it'll make the crowd laugh, even though we're heels.
The kids hate us, right? The little kid, but the dads think we're brilliant. So, like, my stick is quite more like for the old blokes that are having a drink with their kids, are watching the crowd. The kids shout "alcoholic" at us, and we're just making the dads laugh. So it's like we're splitting the crowd before we even start. Yeah, it's just us having the best time. We think it's obviously working because people wanted us to become faces in the end, so we kind of had to do a turn. Which we weren't sure we wanted to do.
No,
not at all, because we're more comfortable working heel. But this just happened. It just happened naturally, and people started cheering us, and we're getting chants and stuff. And so we kind of had to do it because that's what they wanted. So we're more about that's what they want, so let's do it. Yeah, we're just gobby. We're just gobby and stupid, and we don't mind looking stupid either.
We've had matches where people have pulled our tights down, and we're standing there in our pants.
Recently, there was more than tights pulled down, so I was. Recently, there was a bit of a.
I think there's a clip on YouTube, by the way.
Oh, there is one that wasn't filmed. Thank God, there was
the full frontal male nudity.
Oh my!
It was there. I was like, oh, there we go, in for a penny. The guy looking up at me was just smiling as he was pulling down. So so it just happens. We don't mind looking stupid. We don't mind doing the silly stuff, and yeah, we've had some real good reactions from us doing stuff because it's not really seen on the scene anymore of people actually looking stupid. It's very serious wrestling in the UK, and there's lots of the indie wrestling's a mega product and really strong. We just go out there and just look stupid, and it seems to work. People want us to look stupid.
It's like I'll pull some big things out now and again. Like it may not seem big
now,
but it is when people don't understand what I can do. So like a recent match, I done the flip over the top rope and went backstage after, and people are like, where did that come from? Because me and Blanche are very methodical when we come to our or what we do. We're very slow, and it's simple stuff, but we can do other things.
I did a handspring once and the place went bananas.
But we don't need to do that because I was at a show recently with another wrestler, and we'd had a match a week before, and I hit him with a big drop kick, and we went to a death match show, and he was like, you had a better reaction for your drop kick than that guy just did for going through a table full of barbed wire and light tubes. I'm like, it's like we don't, like me and Blanche, we don't need to do that because we've got the mouth and we talk a lot, and
it's about the character really than it is what we do.
Yeah, we're so slow, and even though
very slow,
like we're heels most of the time. But we had a show. When was the Slam Master show?
Which one?
The one with
about a month ago.
About a month ago. And we come out as the heel. And the crowd, there was like we faced Bolarama, so Splits McPins and his partner.
Yeah, if you want to talk about Splits McPins,
he's fantastic. What's his partner's name now? He's changed
Lloyd,
it.
Fat Cat Lloyd Cat.
That's the one. We had a match against them, and they were the faces. Yet the crowd, there was a Bolarama BXB chant going on, even though we were the heels and we were trying our best to be heels, it didn't work. We were still getting cheered. Like all the dads were cheering for us, and all the kids were cheering for them. That's how it worked.
That's just fantastic. What would you say to speak on split McPins for a minute? Man, I've never seen such. I don't think anyone on the Indies is actually doing like a bowling gimmick like this guy is doing, man. On
He's
the Indies.
brilliant. We love
Uh,
splits.
He's fantastic.
And he's a fantastic wrestler, man.
Very
He do
good.
cannonballs too, man. And when he
Yeah,
does the cannonballs, that's even cool. He just rolls it like a bowling ball right there at the end, man.
I've had
I
that
mean-
twice now. Yeah.
yeah. We've wrestled him a few times. Him and his partner in tag matches. We've loved every second. It was so easy, and I think we clicked very well. He also wrestles as a singles guy for us at the moment. He's had a fantastic match with James Ellis. He's got one now coming up with Alex Vane at the anniversary show in August.
But no, Splits is a very talented dude, and whenever he's on the show and we're on the show too, it's always going to be a great day because he's brilliant. He's just the atmosphere. The cool thing about the UK at the moment as well is like the brotherhood, the sisterhood is really, really big, and locker rooms, the atmosphere is great. One of the things we wanted in Carnage was always to have a really fun locker room because our thing is that if it's the happy workers, they're the best workers.
Yeah.
So we always make sure there's a real good mix of people that we know are going to get on, and it's always a good atmosphere. And having Splits in the locker room is just for us. It's brilliant. So
love him. We also brought like with the keeping the guys happy. We also brought in some like old school stuff that you don't see at many any companies around that I know of in the UK anymore. So for like when I go to pay people, our champions, so the tag champs, the mid-card champ and the heavyweight, they all get a bonus for being champion, because in my mind, if they go and say, oh, I had this extra in my pay because I'm a champion, it makes people want to work harder to be able to get a belt, even though, you know, wrestling is all predetermined and like we know who's going to win.
Shh, don't break the
Yeah, I
kayfabe,
know. I'm
dude.
sorry. I'm sorry. I plan for us to lose the tags. But yeah, we give them a little extra. So
you fucking ruined my day now.
It's predetermined. What happened?
I know. I'm sorry. Spoilers.
Fucking ruined my day.
But we give them a little extra.
He didn't know it was predetermined either. There you go.
So people will work harder to try and get a belt, so they get more money.
But yeah,
fucking ruined it.
I'm sorry.
Well, I'm off. Right.
No, but what would you say the most despicable thing you guys did to get heat was as heels?
We haven't had to do that much bad stuff.
No, I think the thing with cue ball was probably the worst.
Oh yeah, so we wrestled Year and Scare, who were the Carnage Tag Team Champions. They cost me my singles match and my title early on in the show. So we kind of like got them to have, right, if you want to fight, we'll have a fight, but put your belts on the line later in the main event. So we did, and we cable tied Big D to the ring, and then we decided to take a chair to cue ball while the referee was down. Well, I knocked the fuck out of him with a chair.
It was insane. That chair shot was. After this, I'll send you the clip because that chair shot is absolutely
I'll post
insane.
it. I'll post this, dude. I will post it.
Yeah, so we knocked the fuck out of him with the chair, and then
I can chair toed him.
You can chair toed him, and Big D's a very big dude. You'll see, and he's cable tied to the ring, trying to lift the ring up. And so yeah, so we did that. That was he, because we knew it was good, because when I hit him, the place went silent.
It was the good kind of silent.
The good silent. Everyone went. Oh. They hadn't seen it in Carnage before.
Not the silent, like, you know. It's like,
no, it was the gas. So they haven't seen anything really in Carnage like that before.
We were kind of nervous about it as well, doing it, because it was the first time that we were gonna actually do anything that maybe was a little bit controversial in respect to, like, obviously people have seen chair shots on like WWE, but
I think when you're at an independent show, it's a little bit more like intimate, isn't it? It's smaller and everyone's close. Everyone knows everyone because that's why there's a few kids in the audience. But when I swung this chair, cacao, the noise was thing, and everyone just went dead silent, and then they realized what was really going on,
and then they went absolutely insane.
So
it was a bit crazy. Like, we were all nervous about it actually doing the spot because like we knew there'd be a few kids there.
Might be a bit pissed off, like.
But we had very, very good feedback from it.
Yeah, so everyone was happy. Everyone enjoyed. Yeah, I think that's the worst thing we've done. We have had a couple of things where we've tied them up or we've taken chairs to them and stuff. Nothing massively heat. I mean, there's a lot more disgusting stuff that guys do to get heat. There's loads of stuff that people do to get heat, but we haven't had to go that far yet. I think we were at the point where we were hated enough anyway, and it just took the one chair shot to really get the silence, the good silence, and then
I think it all started with we really started getting heat was the bit in the match where I laid him out on the floor from the corner.
Yeah.
I chopped him, and he just looked me in the face and he was like, "That sucked."
Yeah.
And I was just like, here we go. Chopped him again. And he was like, "Right, come on." So I just elbowed him, and he
smashed the shit out of him. Man.
Smashed the shit out of his head, and he laid on the floor. But as he laid on the floor, I just kept going, and you could hear grown men in the crowd like, "Ref, get him off him!"
They were like, "This is turning."
Like, everyone thought it was like a legit thing.
The boys in the back were like, "Is that a shoot?"
Even my wife, that was like, you can see her in the clip. She is in the kitchen selling merch and drinks and what have you, and like, she's there and her face is just like she thought it was real. So
which
like,
it is.
Like, which it is. But the fact that we could get that sort of reaction from my wife that basically lives and breathes wrestling the same as me, like, make her believe that
shit's going down. Like,
yeah, it's this. He's actually elbowing him in the head. What's going on? Like, I think was really good, because then I think that set the tone for what happened later on in the match with the chairs and made it that much more impactful.
Yeah.
We
did like a 2.5 year feud with Yaron Scare as well. So
yeah, that's always a big thing when anybody decides they're gonna try to tell the story of a big feud like that. If it's like, I noticed a lot of promotions will put, here's a match, here's a match, here's a match. There's not a lot of promotions nowadays that like to tell a story, like a good long story. They just throw matches out there just to throw them out there.
No, we did with the Yaron Scare. We did that match. So we took out Cue Ball with a chair. Then we sent Cue Ball home for 3 months. We didn't do a show for 3 months. Then he appeared at the anniversary. We were wrestling somebody else. Yaron Scare went on the card. They hadn't been seen. We finished our match. We were celebrating. Lights went off.
They came
out, but just Big D came out, and then all of a sudden, Cue Ball was behind us in the ring with a chair.
I took a couple of chair shots. I broke my elbow.
Yeah, he went through a table. Then they put him through a table, even though he broke his elbow during the match.
Yeah.
So yeah, then we got back into, after him being at home, and then we ended the whole thing with a
no holds
barred match with tables and stuff. And yeah, it was just, we tried to tell the whole story and the involvement of, like, at the end of the match, we became faces, and Yaron Scare broke up. And Cue Ball turned on Big D because they lost the match. So it was like a whole 2.5 years getting to this point where this was the end. They were going to split up, and Cue Ball was going to be heel. We haven't seen him since.
Yeah. So you guys retired him basically, right?
Yeah. So But no, yeah, it was good. We wanted to do, and it started in COVID. So we started during a podcast in COVID, this whole feud with Yaron Scare. So we didn't even wrestle each other for a year. And then we did the 18 months of the wrestling. So, and we wrestled each other in other promotions too. So we had lots of people knowing what was going on, that because we wrestled, lots of footage that we could put together and stuff. So it was really cool.
All content, which is what
social media is now as well. Got, so.
All content.
Yeah. So you speak of this match. Did I know did promotions try to book the match as it was in your promotion, or like you guys were the heels, or and then they were the faces, or did they try to book like we'll book them how we want to book them?
Yeah, when we go to other promotions, it was always the same. We were heels and they were faces. They had a big following, a big following before COVID as a tag team. So the fact that we did the little promos during COVID, we were going to kick their ass. So we came in and other promotions brought us in for us to have that match. So we were having that match. So we wasn't always the same results as we were getting in Karnage and stuff, wins and losses, but it kind of ended up being quite split at the end of the whole thing. It was kind of like split the matches and the results and stuff. So it kind of worked out really well. But yeah, we were brought into other promotions and we had tag matches, I mean 6-man matches, and they were in and stuff. And it was always us versus them for a good year. So,
but we'd bring like other guys in to elevate their feuds as well. So at one point, James Ellis, while we were feuding with Yaron Scare, James Ellis and Jimmy Taylor were feuding. So it ended up in a 6-man tag match with us and James Ellis versus Yaron Scare and Jimmy Taylor. That was more to get like
those two over,
them two over, James and Jimmy. But it also helped our feud as well, because obviously, as I said, more content for the whole thing in general.
Yeah, James Ellis is amazing, by the way. Such a fantastic worker. So
he's amazing. He is very good. Like he's gonna go far. He's one of our boys. He calls us his wrestling dads. Yeah, like love him to bits. Like
he's incredible. He's he just gets it. Some people just sometimes just get it, and James Ellis gets it. He just really does.
Definitely, man. Yeah. So have you? I know you have the beer gimmick, and you guys are heels. Well, right now you're faces, but have you ever missed anybody in the face before to get heat?
No, because during COVID,
I'm saying now.
No, we haven't. We don't like to spill it, to be honest.
That's What's our thing. We don't spill.
We don't like to spill beer.
No,
we don't like to waste it.
During COVID, there was an incident with or just after, when there were still some restrictions, but we could still do shows. Mm-hmm. There was an incident at another promotion with a wrestler spitting
and some spit, and it was against the law.
It was basically against the law to spit at someone, and he's not been seen since. Basically,
so I get it.
So yeah, like there was another guy before COVID, a gent called Sid Oakley. He's a great guy. We had a couple of matches, and this was before I was doing the whole beer thing. He'd come out with a bottle of whiskey, and he'd take a sip and he'd spit it in, my face, which was fine.
But no, COVID changed.
But then COVID changed everything. So yeah, like we've never. I think I've spat in Cue Ball's face, but that was because he allowed me to. We talked about it beforehand, so we knew it was going to happen. It wasn't like a random thing. But I think that's the only time I've ever done it, was in another worker's face.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Used to do it back in the day all the time.
Yeah.
But no, we haven't. We try not to spill the beer, and we actually do drink real beer. We get a lot of people going, "Is that real beer?" Yeah, it is. It is real beer. We're not. Yeah, it's real beer. So,
what kind of beer you guys drink exactly? Bring to the ring.
We drink different. We've got our own beer with our own logos on it and stuff.
That's so
I'm
cool.
not going to go into too much detail. We like the screw top beers because we don't have to take a bottle opener with us. We don't have many screw top beers in the UK. I know in America, all your beers are screw top. We don't. There's only a few, so we have to get a screw top beer with our labels on. But we drink different in real life. We drink different beer completely.
Completely.
You drink lagers and stuff, and I'm more of a IPA kind of guy. So, and American beer is real good at IPAs at the moment. IPAs in America are cracking. So,
yeah, definitely, man. I mean, what kind of beers you drinking though? Usually, chugging down.
Do we give the secret away?
You give the secret. I probably don't know it. I probably don't
no,
know.
You will.
You will.
So one of the only bottles that we can get.
You don't have to give the kayfabe away right now.
Okay.
There's one.
We'll tell you. We'll tell you after.
There is one bottle in the UK that has a twist top, so that is the only beer that we can drink for shows.
Damn.
It's because we don't want to carry bottle opener and stuff, so I throw the bottle tops at people and stuff, and
so people know what beer it is anyway because it's on the cap.
So I throw in the bottle tops at people, and yeah, so it is what it is. We're stuck with a very small type of beer that we can do just because we want it to be handy.
It's just easier.
Yeah. Do you guys have any crazy road trip stories or no?
Oh, so many
that we can tell.
It won't get you in trouble with anybody or anything like that.
Right, you start. I've drunk too much water.
Right, I was lucky. I was lucky enough to travel with Tracy Smothers once.
Okay.
Which was amazing because he's a legend. You know, he's not here with us anymore. But Tracy Smothers used to come to the UK quite a bit, and I was lucky enough to spend a lot of time with him and be on the road. Any kind of story with Tracy Smothers is an amazing story. And the guy was one of the most fun guys ever. So there's so many instances where he was just, it's Tracy Smothers.
Yeah.
It's just a complete legend. So it was always the most fun times. It would just be random stuff of us just having the best time ever. So those are my favorite road stories. There's so many that I couldn't go into detail with any of. I wouldn't want to go into detail with them anyway because they're like my memories. He's probably got better stories than me because his stories are crazy.
I can tell you about the time I nearly died. So there was a guy that I used to wrestle for. He had his own ring, and I was young, so I was probably about 14, and I was head of ring crew. So every time that he hired his ring out to another promotion, I had to go with him because he didn't know how to set up his own ring. So we done the job, we were coming home, and back in those days, it'd be the wrestlers up in the front. So there was 2 people up in the front, and then the ring crew in the back with the van. So there was 2 of us in the back with the van, laying on all the boards. All of a sudden, I hear one of the guys start screaming and praying to God. He was like, please, God, don't let me die. I didn't realize, but we're on a motorway and the axle of the wheels had snapped in half.
Oh, my God.
There was no car, no van. It was just going. We were veering off. We went down this big ditch. Luckily, the car stayed upright. And luckily, obviously, because it was very illegal for me to be in the back of that van. We had a guy following us just randomly in the car. He was on his way home from the show, and he seen what had happened and stopped and had to take me home. But obviously, I couldn't. If I did have any injuries, I couldn't go to the hospital and say I was in a car accident
in the back of a van
because it was very illegal. So I had to go home and rest up a few days. Let's put it that way.
Oh. Crazy. So are there any tag teams you guys are eyeballing?
We want everyone. It's weird, right? Because like I said, we're very different to the other tag teams in the UK. We're very, very different, and a lot of people don't think we can have a good matches with certain people, but we have had good matches with teams that do the very different style to us, because styles make matches as well. So we've worked some really good guys. We wouldn't mind another match with GL2.
No.
Bowler Armor, wrestling any day of the week.
One apiece for each of those tag teams as well. So they've beat us once, we've beat them once with both tag teams. So we need a rubber match for
both of those.
For both of them. I wouldn't mind working James Ellis and Jimmy Taylor again. We done that match last week.
Yeah.
Last week.
Yeah, last week we wrestled them.
That was fantastic. That was really fun. So I wouldn't mind another match with them because they're our boys. So just us four being in the ring at the same time anyway is just.
We're open to work anyone. We'll do our very best for anyone and just put on a good match and entertain people. So we're not really too
come at us, tag teams.
Yeah, there's not loads and loads and loads of tag teams in the UK. So
no, there's not many. We are pretty short on tag teams in the UK, to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you travel to like, there's a few in Scotland. There's one or two in England, but
we wrestled Gold Standard from England.
Yeah.
We wrestled some other guys down in Cornwall, which is pretty cool. But no, yeah, we're open to anyone really. We're open to seeing if we can put on a good match and just entertain everyone. So we're not too fussy. We're not scared of anyone. BXP.
And your dream tag team opponents.
Oh,
what ever?
Ever anybody could be
anybody. It could be anyone. Ooh. I don't know. I've never thought about it.
No, me.
Well, I think the best tag team ever is Arn and Tully.
I'm gonna go for
your FTR.
FTR now.
I was gonna say FTR too.
I think if you really watch FTR, our styles ain't that different.
Yeah.
All fists, no flips in it.
Yeah.
You guys have the British FTR, basically.
Well, let's not go too far. I wish I had as much talent as them. But...
Yeah, one step at a time. I know. I don't know. I like working the big dudes, don't I? So
Midnight Express. I think.
Midnight. Oof.
Beer Money would be a good one.
Beer Money would be a good one.
Bring them back. Bring them back.
James Storm was in the UK not too long ago.
Yeah.
Funny enough.
Uh-huh.
So no, yeah, Beer Money would be great. That's
if you could get Bobby Roode out of his WWE contract to come to the UK for.
100%. I'd book it.
To be fair, we have talked about wrestling some guys recently that we wanted to do. I want to wrestle a Hall of Famer, and so we talked about see if we can get Scotty Too Hot and Rikishi here. I think that would be that was one of the matches we really would want.
He can take the stink face.
Scotty Too Hot and Rikishi.
And Scotty Too Hot, he's over here all the time as well. He's only just gone home. He comes over here pretty much every few months. So
I'd love to get Rikishi here and work Too Cool.
It wouldn't be too hard to get Scotty. It'd just be the Rikishi thing, I think.
Yeah, so Too Cool for me, I think. Too Cool would be the dream opponents, I think.
Mm-hmm. So if there was like somebody who was trained to be a wrestler, what advice would you give them?
Okay. Train as many places as you possibly can.
Don't stick to one school. And before you go to a school, see who it's trained by and see if they've got a reputation for being good. See who's come out of that school and what they've done.
Study tape, study lots of tape.
There's lots of schools that'll just is more and more in the UK coming every day pretty much. And there's some of the trainers that are training there shouldn't be in the ring themselves.
And then there's some amazing schools.
There are some amazing schools
run by amazing people that have brilliant talents, and they should be training people. They should be.
They've been there. They've done it.
So yeah, train as many places as you can. Go to as many seminars as you can. Watch as much wrestling as you can. Work on your gimmick.
Learn to drive.
Neither of us drive.
Neither of us drive. So if we have bookings, that, you know, are far away.
You guys rattle
Unless, you know, James Ellis or one of the other boys are booked on the same show, then unfortunately. my
However,
wife
we do
was-
get to drink,
Yeah,
so that is always a good thing.
it is. This is why we don't drive, so we can drink at
We
shows.
literally live the gimmick.
You're living the gimmick right now, is what you
living
guys
the
are
gimmick.
doing.
No, yeah, just train as many places as you can. Speak to as many people as you can. People in the business are really approachable if you're asking the right questions, you know. So just speak to as many people as you can.
And listen to constructive criticism as well. If someone says you've done something wrong or that could have looked better, don't take it to heart and think you're shit. Ask why and how you could make it better, and then, you know, practice and practice and practice.
It's just like anything else. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So here's an oddball question for you guys. What's your favorite food?
I like a good steak.
Good steak. Okay. What kind of steak? What kind of steak?
I'm a sirloin
Sirloin
kind of
steak,
guy.
okay.
Anything.
He's a chef, so he's like
my real job is I teach people how to cook. So
he's a dustbin.
I like lots of food, lots and lots of food. But go to like dirty food. I like a good burger.
Good burger, yeah.
Burger and you guys in New York, yeah, you got those. I want to get the Cat's Deli, man.
Cat's Deli. Everybody talks about this Cat's Deli. I'm living in New York and I've never been to Cat's Deli.
You've never been to Cat's Deli.
So when you
Cat's
guys
Deli.
come to America, we're all gonna go to Cat's Deli. Right
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
And just pizza. You guys have the real thin pizza in New York,
Trust me,
yeah.
nothing better than New York pizza. Nothing better.
Yeah, I'm all over that. Minimal toppings, just the proper dough, thin crust. Yeah, I'm all in for that, bro. All in for that.
I do like a pizza.
All in for that.
And the thing with New York pizza, and this is no offense to any other states out there, but other states are probably get mad at me. Anywhere you go in New York has a good pizza shop. Anywhere, loads of good pizza shops. So just stop in one pizza shop. It's good. You know what I mean? There's some that are better than others, but you can't get a bad New York pizza. You know what I mean?
And I just I'll be all over it. Just
my son would love it. I think if he could, he'd eat pizza every day. I have to stop him eating pizza every day.
What toppings would you put on your pizza?
Oh,
I'm a traditionalist. I like old school, so just cheese, tomato, and maybe just pepperoni.
Pepperoni is good.
I think
old school too.
Yeah, just you don't need too much on. Don't ruin it. Don't add stupid stuff on it like chicken and whatnot. Don't need to.
And pineapples and stuff like that.
Oh no. Pineapple.
Just straight
cheese
pizza.
And tomato and maybe some onion. I am a sucker for onion.
A little bit of spice, maybe. Yeah, well, good. That's it.
So what are you guys' favorite movies you enjoy?
Ooh, that's hard. My favorite movie of all time. I've got two, and I can't pick between them. Braveheart. And Taxi Driver with Robert De Niro.
Two great movies right there.
Oh, mine is I like. Oh, it's tough. Here we go. Roadhouse is. I'm an 80s kid, so Roadhouse is class.
Roadhouse.
I like Bronson. You have some Bronson?
I don't think I
haven't seen it.
That's a Tom Hardy film where he plays Charlie Bronson.
Yeah.
Amazing. Batman. I got lots of Batman tattoos. The Heath Ledger Batman. Yeah.
Is that your favorite Joker right there? Or
yeah, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite Marvel character?
Ooh.
Because
Marvel. Deadpool.
Yeah, it's got to be in it.
My favorite's got to be the Silver Surfer right there.
Ooh, yes.
He's never had a great movie.
No,
he's been in the one with the Fantastic Four. That pissed me off right there. You know, he's never had a great singles Marvel movie, and I'm hoping Disney's going to make that change soon.
I think they're remaking the Fantastic Four, aren't they? So
no Silver Surfer and Fantastic Four. Please, we jinxed it once enough. We need to have a regular Silver Surfer movie, please. You know.
That'd be great. No, yeah,
Yeah.
Deadpool. I think Deadpool's pretty amazing.
I think I like Deadpool so much just because he can say
what the
fuck.
fuck he wants.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Disney, and Disney's gonna take off the chains just so we could see a rated R Deadpool film. Which
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
great.
Isn't it like this one's the next one's gonna be different because of the writers' strike or something, isn't it?
I don't know, but I know Wolverine's gonna be in it. And I'm all in.
Yeah,
So apparently they have to stick to what the script is, and he can't ad lib. So that's a shame.
Yeah.
So, but no, yeah, Deadpool and class.
Yeah, I can't wait for that one, man. And yeah. So that what's your favorite Marvel movie? You'd say.
I quite like the Black Panther. The first Black Panther was really
Black
good.
Panther was good.
I
I
like the second one better.
Yeah, the second one's pretty good.
I did like Endgame.
I thought Captain America: Civil War is probably still the best. No,
That
Captain
is
America's
a very good one.
that one.
The
and
airport scene.
The what you call it? Winter Soldier is really good too.
Yeah,
those two are really good. So, and the original Avengers is up there too.
Original Avengers is class.
Yeah. I like Guardians as well, just because the music's brilliant.
Yeah, I love the music.
Yondu's pretty ace, isn't he? So
after the movie, I'm just singing all the songs from Guardians in my head, in my car. You know what I mean? Just singing all the songs, and I'm like, wow, the movie really got to me.
In my kitchen at work, I've got a picture of Yondu.
Yeah.
Just before, so he's just above the service hatch. So it's a picture of just a random picture of Yondu.
Man, that's awesome. So, what kind of metal music do you guys enjoy? Or
I'm a bit of everything.
I'm a little bit more old school.
Yeah, my playlist is random as hell.
Our entrance music's pretty cool because
yes, it is.
So Dan and Danger been using his music for a few years now, and it's a guy called Leo who does metal covers. And it's Turned Down for What, but a metal version of Turned Down for What.
What? Really?
Yeah.
I gotta hear.
It's very good. It's on YouTube, or any streaming.
Yeah, it's on
music.
but his name's Leo, and he does. He's based in Europe somewhere, and he just covers of everything, like the Pokemon theme. He just takes random songs, just these amazing metal covers. We'll send you some links. He's brilliant.
Man,
and you had his music for ages.
Yeah. I had his music for ages, and then obviously when we started tagging,
my music for the last 20 years has been Deep Purple, Perfect Stranger. So there's that little intro at the beginning. So we'd put the little intro from Perfect Stranger and then cut it into Danger's music, and it's people cheer us when they hear the intro bit, and then when the music comes on, it's just worked. It's just randomly worked. There's two random pieces of music together. So
and they're so different as well, but they mix so well at the same time. So it's literally just the intro of Perfect Stranger, and then it just goes straight into Turn Down for What. And people just love it because the nostalgia of Perfect Stranger, they're sort of like, oh, this is good. And then when it hits into Turn Down for What, everyone's head banging. And Leo's voice is insane as well. He's so good.
His covers, seriously, even the Pokemon theme and Teletubbies and stuff are brilliant.
Don't get me started with Pokemon now, because I can name my favorite Pokemon right now. You know?
Do it. Let's do it. I'm a Pokemon player. Let's do it.
I'm only like the first gen Pokemon.
I think Snorlax is my favorite Pokemon. Probably
that's my son's favorite Pokemon. So yeah,
Snorlax, and Charizard's another favorite of mine.
Mine was Charmander.
I like Incineroar because he's like a wrestler. But no, old school wise, yes, Snorlax for me as well, bro. Yeah,
Snorlax, man, nobody could beat Snorlax. Come on, man. You know?
He's the greatest.
He's the laziest guy, but he's like the toughest fighter because he's just so big and massive. You know what I mean?
I'm a massive Pokemon fan, so
there should just be a beers and beatdowns Snorlax play, T-shirt or something like that.
We should do that.
We could do that. We could do that.
Snorlax just drinking a beer or something like that.
That would be class.
In a leather.
In a leather jacket.
see this. I'm creating shirts right now. for
Let's
you
do it.
guys.
There's some merch there.
That's there you go, man. All right. So, did you guys happen to see the new Indiana Jones or not yet?
I haven't watched
I
it
haven't
yet.
seen the new Indian. Do you know what? I don't actually watch much television or anything at the moment. Just don't get a chance.
Neither do I. I've got too many kids, and at
They
the
run
moment,
the telly, don't they?
it's Peppa Pig or Coco Melon.
Oh my God! Please don't. No Cocomelon, please.
Oh, it's a nightmare.
It's
Or
like we had Pokemon back in the day. They have Cocomelon. I sometimes I'm watching Cocomelon with my girlfriend's niece, and then it's like, come on now, really? They watch this stuff?
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's so bad. It's so bad. It's so
when
bad.
I was a kid, it was
create this
Thundercats. You know, when I was a kid, it was Thundercats, and
Biker Mice from Mars.
now it's Pokemon is, to be fair, Pokemon's like 25 years old and it's still ace.
Yeah.
But the kids' cartoons now are horrid.
They are. They've got to have some sort of educational purpose in every single thing. It can't be just a story like it used to be.
We're trying to increase the brain by just telling basic stuff that they probably already know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Insulting parents, because like parents teach their kids. We don't need a TV show to do it as well.
I suppose it saves me some time and not having to teach my kids how to talk. I'll just stick a iPad in front of them and let them watch Cocomelon.
Parent of the year.
Oh my God.
Dangerous Danny Owens.
Jeez. And so where could people find you guys exactly if they want to find you?
On Facebook and Instagram, we are at Beers X Beatdowns.
I don't know much about the socials. I'm really old and rubbish at it. I think I'm Brewski Blanche BXB on Instagram.
I'm Dangerous Danny Owens on Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah,
we've just got accepted by Cameo, so we're on Cameo as well. If you want a shout out,
we'll do a little message.
That's an exclusive because it hasn't even been put on our socials yet.
It's just been happened today. So,
breaking news! Breaking news!
BXB are on Cameo.
News,
we're not going to be charging the same as MJF.
Yeah.
MJFs are very expensive, but we're not be charging like he does. But he's the man.
I feel if you guys made it to AEW or WWE, you might have to.
Oh, we'll put it up a little bit, maybe.
I'm a little bit too old to be signed by anyone.
I think I am as well.
You're never too old, man. Look at DDP, man.
Yeah,
DDP, man.
It's all
DDP
changed.
started when he was 32 years old, man, and he's a legend.
I'm 32 now, so maybe
I know I look a lot younger than him, but I'm a lot older than him. He is only 32.
Blanche is nearly dead age.
Is there any upcoming Karnage shows that you guys want to promote?
Yes, we've got on August the 20th. It's our 2nd anniversary, so it's the 3rd mutation. We're very excited about this show. We're in one of our new favorite venues as well, which I can't say because it's in Wales and I don't speak a lick of the language.
Richard Price Centre.
Is that when? Whereabout? No, but whereabout is it?
Llangina.
There we go. You said, see, so it's in some place I can't say. We've got Wild Boar on the show, the WWE UK guy, Wild Boar. We've got Progress Lady, LA Taylor, and Danny Luna, WWE, Danny Luna. So LA Taylor versus Danny Luna. Going to be a great match. We're wrestling some jabronis.
Not a clue who they are. Who books this crap?
James Ellis is in the main event against the heavyweight champion JJ Roberts and Elijah from Progress. Triple threat. So it's going to be amazing. The card's going to be amazing. Shane Hooker versus Kenny Manta for the Outbreak,
which is going to be insane.
Bev and Ollie, or as we call him, Beverly.
Bev and
Ollie, the new tag team champion.
Is that named after the soda?
No. So all of a sudden, the Bevan versus the gold standard in their first defense of the tag team championships. Who else we got? Some other.
Alex Vane
versus
Splits McPins.
This is another one. Split
That'll be
pins right
great.
there.
And yeah, and the Wild Boar is going to be on versus Leon Cage. So it's going to be a great show. It's August the 20th. It's all on the Carnage Facebook page at Pro Wrestling Carnage. And our Instagram, I think it's the same, is
It's
it?
the same.
Yeah. So yeah, do you guys have any upcoming shows like for you guys at Wrestling?
Oh, for us,
I can't remember. What
we've got only one in July at the moment.
Yeah, one in July at the moment.
We just had a really big run for us as well. We did like 4 shows in 5 weeks, which is something we don't normally do.
Is a lot different in the UK than you obviously have in the UK. The guys that work every weekend. Not us. Blanche has commitments. Blanche has kids too. He's a better father than I am. I'd go every weekend. But Blanche isn't like that. But yeah, July 23rd.
VCW, we are tagging with James Ellis against some Straubs. Kenny Mantra and that other dude and some other dude.
Kenny Mantra is another amazing guy right there.
Yeah, I've wrestled Kenny too many. I'm getting fed up with Kenny now, to be honest.
Yeah, we've wrestled Kenny a bit. You've wrestled him more than me.
Like 8 times in the last year. I wish he'd go away. So yeah, we got that one, and then August we've got another one. We're hoping to. We're doing a Comic-Con.
Yeah, we're
in August
Comic-Con
in Newport, so that'd be cool. Then we got that anniversary show. And then I think the next one after that is Slam Masters in Cardiff on October the 1st.
Which these shows, the ones in the capital,
amazing,
fantastic.
We love them.
The amount of people that get there and the caliber of talent.
Ace Austin from Impact is on.
What? Really? That's awesome.
Yeah. Mark Andrews is there.
Flash Morgan Webster.
Morgan Webster will be there. Boar. So yeah, just great shows, and we're just lucky to be part of them, and we love it. Yeah. We just love it.
It's like all these top talent, top tier guys, and then there's us.
And there's the best right there. The best guys right there.
And there's us just sitting in the corner drinking a beer.
You guys still the tag team champions? Because if you have the belts, you could raise them.
No, we
lost them 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
No, man, right?
And we didn't even get pinned.
We didn't get pinned. It was a triple threat. So it is what it is. It's all right. We've got our eye on them still. We want them back.
Yeah, you'll get them back. It's only a matter of time, man.
It's only a matter of time.
Yeah. There you go.
Definitely.
Anyway, I want to thank you guys so much for coming on the podcast.
No worries. Thank you.
You guys have been awesome. All right, and let's do our rock symbols. I'm the Metal Geek. And we'll see you guys later tonight with Chip Mandalay.